With Bitcoin blasting through 120K like Cam Scatterbo running through somebody's skull, even Bloomberg can't deny that Uptober is here, and it's all gas and no brakes.
It's a quick check on crypto prices as we begin the so-called month of Uptober with strong gains. Traders are batting of a rebound after one of the harshest sell-offs in months. Cryptocurrencies shed roughly $300 billion last week as a wave of leverage.
And here's the kicker. President Trump is considering stimulus checks or taxpayer rebates of $1,000 to $2,000 for every American household based on the tariff revenue that they've collected.
We're not highly levered anymore. Now, with that being said, we'll pay back debt, but we also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America.
How much are you thinking for that, sir?
Well, we're thinking maybe $1,000 to $2,000.
The last time we got Stimmy checks in the mail in 2020, Bitcoin rose from 6K to 58K over the next year. And that $1,200 stimulus check is now worth over $21,000. Now imagine, if Uptober plays out the way that it always does, based on historical prices, statistically speaking, based on previous Uptobers, Bitcoin is going to go from 120K to 138K before Halloween. That's not that crazy. $4 trillion asset manager JP Morgan says that Bitcoin should be valued at 165K relative to where gold is valued. Uptober is when Bitcoin reminds the world that it's inevitable. Strap in. Stimulus checks, Uptober, means that the bull run might just be around the corner. This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Let's go. Donald Trump is proposing $1,000 to $2,000 stimulus checks or taxpayer rebates for every American household based upon the revenue that they've collected from tariffs. And let's rewind the clock. In March of 2020, when the first stimulus checks started to come out into the economy, well, Bitcoin's price was $6,500 a coin. By December that year, it was $23,000 a coin. By March the following year, it was $58,000 a coin. That's not mailbox money. That Stimmy check is generational wealth. And this is the part that people don't get. Every stimulus check, every time that there's a bailout, every time that there's a Fed rate cut, every time that money is injected into the system, here's an opportunity for those who hold real world assets to grow their asset value. There's more money going after scarce assets. And this is what the market is pricing in Uptober. Bitcoin started the month at around 111K and blasted through the 110s like Cam Scatterbo, running through anyone and everyone's face for his squad.
Donovan Wilson is unblocked in the hole. Ooh. And Scatterbo just runs him.
Like Bobby Boucher blocking for Derek Wallace in Waterboy.
Boucher's out in front. A great block. And a second one. Touchdown.
Like Jackson Dart, Bitcoin has no conscience in Uptober, literally looking to smack every red candle in the face just for looking at it the wrong way.
What about the stiff arm at the end of the line?
Yeah, maybe that's not the smartest with my throwing hand. I didn't really like the way he was looking at me, so.
Since 2013, Bitcoin has averaged 20% gains in October. And every time that it's green in September, well, it's been up in October. That's not hopium, that's not vibes, that's a statistically relevant correlation. So yeah, if it were to go up by 20%, we would see 138K Bitcoin this month. But what happens when the real bid comes with Fed rate cuts, with Stimmy checks, with central banks buying? I mean, we literally have $4.3 billion of leverage against Bitcoin expiring today. We could see fireworks before even the end of the weekend. And while this has all been going on, Uncle Ray Ray has been yawning. Yeah, a lot of people believe in Bitcoin, but he still doesn't believe in it. He thinks that central banks won't be buying Bitcoin because there's no privacy and it could be hacked or manipulated.
Is Bitcoin a legitimate currency to hold in that environment?
That's an interesting and not easily answered question. There's a medium of exchange and a storehold of wealth, and most importantly, the storehold of wealth. So Bitcoin is perceived by many as a money. It is limited in its supply, and it has certain transaction benefits. Very easily all around the world, you can transact in it, and so it has those elements. I doubt that any central bank will take it on as a reserve currency because everybody can understand and watch, governments can, who is doing what transactions on it, governments can, so there's no privacy to it. And there is a question of whether the code can be broken or things can be done to make it, let's say, less effective, including, government controls of it. So I can't say exactly how effective it is as a money, but it's being perceived by many as an alternative money. My own approach is in my share of my portfolio, I have gold and I have some Bitcoin, but not much.
His portfolio, a lot of gold, a little bit of Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor disagrees fundamentally with Ray Dalio, saying that we've gone through this in the past. If things were still the same, then gold would still be the dominant form of currency in backing in the world. But it isn't. And he believes that Bitcoin will succeed where gold fails.
The reason that you will be able to trust them is because you have the option to withdraw your trust. All right, so I look at it as the great deterrent. If you think about gold and why gold failed, one reason gold failed is it's so incredibly difficult to custody. And so if you look at in the history of gold, in the 20s, you had 4 great central bankers, and the central banker in Germany was Schacht, and the central banker in the US was Ben Strong. And the world, was substantially on a gold standard, and the Germans had gold. And the French had gold, and the British had gold, the Americans had gold, but for the most part, the gold was either in London or in New York. The French gold was with the British or the Americans, or the German gold was with the Americans. So there's a famous story where Schacht traveled to New York City, met with the head of the Fed, Ben Strong, and Ben Strong wanted to show him the German gold, took him down into the basement of the New York Fed, and they couldn't find the gold. And of course, the message of the story is this: gold is so difficult to custody, countries couldn't figure out how to, like the entire country of Germany couldn't figure out how to custody their own gold, much less the 100,000 companies in Germany or the 60 million people in Germany. And so the reason gold failed was it was too slow and too difficult to custody, and therefore your property rights were always going to be impaired by a central actor.
He's been on this train since 2020, when his company MicroStrategy bought their first $250 million in Bitcoin. And lo and behold, his digital gold thesis since then has been pretty good, considering that they now own $77 billion worth of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And he's not just looking for billions. And his next goal, $1 trillion in Bitcoin assets.
The end game is get to $1 trillion of collateral growing 30% a year, be issuing $100 billion of credit a year, growing 20, 30% a year. And that credit is yielding 200, 300, 400 basis points more than all of the real estate backed credit, the corporate backed credit, the fiat backed credit, or any other type of credit instrument in the world.
Back to the whole gold and Bitcoin thing. Gold failed, Bitcoin won't. And $4 trillion asset manager JP Morgan believes that Bitcoin is undervalued relative to gold, saying that based upon their volatility ratios and how they correlate together, with Bitcoin's implied volatility to Bitcoin, it says that at a $2.3 trillion market cap, it should rise another 42% to match gold's volatility in value, giving it a theoretical price of $165K Bitcoin. Firms like Vanguard, who have historically been very negative on Bitcoin, well, even now they're considering getting in the game as they see other major asset managers and Wall Street firms cashing in on the promise of offering Bitcoin and crypto products to their customers.
If you're a Vanguard investor and you want to buy Bitcoin ETFs, you don't want to go to another platform. And nearly every major platform now offers Bitcoin ETFs. So I feel like this is a sign of times, a big shift, but still we're not sure. But when we talked to Vanguard, they said they're listening to clients, they're talking about it. So again, they're opening the window by a little.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what it sounds like is they saw demand from clients.
Yes.
And they want to make sure that clients stay on their platform to do what they want.
Don't wander off the ecosystem, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yes. Eric Baltunas, again, he was the one who I talked to for this story. He said that, if Bitcoin ETFs weren't as successful, we may not be seeing this. But it's so hard to ignore the astounding success. I mean, altogether, the cohort has around $142 billion in assets. 80 billion of those is from BlackRock. 20 billion alone came this year. So you don't even see the demand abating. And with the SEC now, you might see more cryptocurrency ETFs to come. And to close the door on that money-making big, it's just lavishing capital, investors lavishing capital into these ETFs is a big, maybe, mistake, according to some.
The floodgates for Bitcoin are happening at all levels, not just at the digital capital level with companies like MicroStrategy, or at the institutional level with asset managers like JP Morgan and Vanguard recommending it to their clients, but also at the individual level, at the Congress level, with companies like Coinbase urging them to remove capital gains on Bitcoin transactions, opening the doorway for Bitcoin becoming digital money. It's a digital money that's looking to offer freedom to the world. And not only freedom, but just better tools for businesses and people in general.
Mr. Ledin, do you have anything in particular that you think would do harm if we would put something in legislation?
Thank you, Senator. I think that my theme is that there's a lot of potential for over-reporting. We spend a lot of time on that, even in this discussion about de minimis and with stablecoins itself. There's an enormous potential. This is a democratized form of financial asset class where people can use things in ways that weren't done before. And there's a tremendous potential here for over-reporting and burdening the system. That's burdening the system for taxpayers, and it's burdening the system for the IRS. So let's take reporting today, and if you enhance this by over-reporting, by not including a de minimis rule, you're going to have billions of transactions that taxpayers are going to have to report, keep track of. I don't think most taxpayers are prepared for that result. It'll probably hinder the growth of the industry.
But before we go any further into our episode, let's thank our sponsors. Ledin has been the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans since 2018, issuing over $9 billion worth of loans to tens of thousands of customers all across the world. And the average time to get fiat into your account for your Bitcoin collateral is just 6 hours. The application takes just 2 minutes. The process is fast, seamless, requires no credit check, and the loan start at just 12.5%. About half of what you would get for a credit card. The process is so fast, seamless, and simple that they have over 1,000 five-star customer reviews. And they do proof of reserve attestation reports showing you that they have all the Bitcoin that they say that they do. Fill out an application in just 2 minutes and get 0.25% off your first loan by going to learn.ledin.io/simplybitcoin. One of the things as we move into this new future, this new digital future, is that you have the ability to remove your digital assets from the system. Bitcoin is the first and only asset that allows you to have full control with a fully digital product. For a lot of people, this isn't very straightforward and this isn't very intuitive, but Bitcoin does offer you the opportunity to do this, so why not take advantage of it? Well, it's probably because you don't feel comfortable doing it, and you don't have to do it alone. Hire a coach, the Bitcoin way. They'll pair you with a one-on-one mentor to help you remove your Bitcoin from exchanges privately, safely, securely, and confidently, so you can protect your generational wealth for your children. Go to thebitcoinway.com/simplybitcoin to get started. While Bitcoin is starting to emerge as a tool for everyday people that you can spend and a tool for freedom around the world, there are certain places that aren't so friendly to this digital freedom thing, like the UK. Your money, your speech, your identity, they want to control it all. Think before you post is their mantra. And here's the crazy thing. If you're not in digital media or social media slavery, well, you're probably in financial slavery. There's been a crazy story out there about a Tesla employee who worked there for 12 years that just in order to afford a home had to sell their stock in Tesla, and that didn't even pay for the entire home. Listen to this story.
I was the first out of 5 kids to buy my own house. I'm living my dream. This would have not been possible without Tesla stock. Hi, my name is Kyoko Orange. I've been at Tesla for 12 years. I started in plastics department. I worked my way up. I was a production associate and then a team lead and then became a supervisor. Growing up for me, so there's 5 of us. We just didn't have it like other kids. We, all 5 of us kids, used to live in one of our family friends' trailers. We just knew our parents couldn't afford it. So I started at Tesla, I grew with all the opportunities, and I was able to start a family of my own. Now I have 4 kids. I bought a Model Y, so now we can fit my whole family in one car. We bought our condo, now we bought our house. Tesla stock was able to help us put down a huge down payment for our house, about 3/4.
Imagine that, having to liquidate your equity in one of the greatest assets of all time and not even be able to afford a full home, just to afford the American dream and a 75% down payment. This is financial slavery. And Bitcoin fixes this. And there's people out there like Joy Reid who think that freedom is scary.
Is that if you go back before the 20th century, there were no income taxes, there were no regulations on business. You could earn as much money as you want, leave 100% of it to your children with no taxes. Right. That's the world they want back. And to get it back, they need society to change. They need people to be less modern. They need people to want fewer things.
Yes, Joy, I would love to get to a place where we can offer an inheritance to our children's children, where there would be equal weights and measures in money. Right now, we pay to Caesar what is Caesar's, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't fight against the system that Caesar operates in, to usher in a new system, a better system, a system built on fairness, open transparency, and privacy. And we can all partake in it. Uptober is a signpost for that. Uptober is a signpost that Bitcoin is inevitable. The clown world is ending and sound money is being ushered in, one October at a time. And this month, if it does what it's done historically, well, we could see 138K Bitcoin. It's just math and averages. 250K before the end of the year, it's realistic. And if it does what it did when we got stimulus checks the last time, when it rose from $6,500 a coin to $58,000 a coin, well, we're going to see $1 million Bitcoin. Just looking back at what happened in the past, it's absolutely possible that this can happen now. Are you ready for it? This is Dante Cook with Bitcoin Simply. Happy stacking. Oh, my bad. Before you go, I want to invite you down to the largest Bitcoin mining expo conference in the world, happening in Dallas, Texas from November 11th through November 13th. If you haven't already got your tickets, we've got you hooked up. Use the promo code SimplyBitcoin for 20% off your tickets. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Have a good weekend, everybody, and I hope we see all-time highs.